Okay, we are live now. We can start. And please turn on your video as well, Monty.
Yeah, so very good evening and warm welcome to all of you. I am your host today, Bonti Sharma, bringing to you all the another webinar session with on gender and sexuality with Anna Jory. So before I begin, here's a brief introduction about us. So Anna Jory, to our new audience who are with us in this beautiful evening today. Anna Jory means the bond of love. It signifies the unconditional love. It is the bond of unconditional love for his native land that brought back Milind Datta, the founder of Anajore. The USA, from USA to start a NGO in 2018, which engage and promotes various initiatives that are striving for social change and and the leadership skills and building entrepreneurship capabilities in the northeastern region, including Assam. So for the last 2 years, he has been engaging with the speakers from various fields through virtual media to create a network among the people working in the region. Well, on this note, I should no longer wait and introduce our guest, Dr. Monami Porasor. She is the assistant professor of Deopani College, and she completed her master degree and Ph.D. from Gauhati University from the Department of English. Her area of interest is gender study, and today's topic of discussion will be social construction of gender and subversive performance. So without any further here, I say I would like to request her to kindly share her views regarding her today's topic. So it's over to you, ma'am, now.
Hello. Hello.
Ma'am, you are audible. You can continue, ma'am.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Ma'am, you
Can
can
you
continue.
hear me now?
Yeah, ma'am, you are audible. You can continue.
Okay. First of all, I'd like to thank the entire team of Anajori for inviting me today. Okay, thank you very much. So, I'm going to start my what to say my topic today. It's about I'm going to speak about the social construction of gender, how gender is a matter of social construction. Okay. Network নাই দেখোন। সেইটোত লগাই দিয়াচোন।
Ma'am, you are audible. You can continue.
Okay, please wait. I have some problem with the net. এইটো লগাই দিয়াচোন। এখন always like that. It's always like that. নাই পৰা নেকি শুনিব? হা? প্ৰব্লেম হৈছে নেকি আকৌ your network হৈ আছে? Hello, can you hear me now?
Ma'am,
Hello.
you're audible, ma'am. Ma'am, you're audible. You can continue.
Okay, okay,
Yeah, ma'am.
okay,
You please continue.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. So I would like to say, first of all, that what is gender? Okay. So when we ask this question, what is gender? Then a very normal way of, I quote unquote the word normal, because when we talk about gender, what majority thinks about gender is that it is either a male or a female, isn't it? So when we talk about gender, we only restrict ourselves to just to masculinity and femininity. Okay, and we always use to shut ourselves from all other variants of gender. So we since we feminine and masculine representation of our selfhood as our gender identity. So what happens is the other options of gender, the other variants of gender stigmatized by the society. Uh, in the when we talk about our, for example, our Indian society as well, we see that gender. When we talk about gender, male or a female, these two are the valid, are the socially intelligible categories of gender. So can you hear me now?
Yeah, ma'am, you can continue.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, ma'am, you can continue, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay. It's a big problem here actually. Our place is a very remote area. So always these kind of problems are being encountered by us. Okay. So I was talking about that association of fixity with gender. Okay. So this is a problematic area. That is the association of fixity with gender. So what happened when we talked about gender equality? Then what happened? Feminism. Feminism uh, grew from among these reactions towards gender inequality. So feminism always tried there should be gender equality. They talked about gender inequality. There should be equality in the society, both for male and female. But then after feminism, a phase came with post-feminism, which is known as post-feminism in the theoretical domain. Okay, so in post-feminism, what happened? People like Judith Butler, Michel Foucault, so all these critics, all these social thinkers, what they did try to question the fixity of gender as a category. When we talk about feminism or a feminist uh, perspective, we see that they are talking about gender in uh, categories. Okay, there will be a male, he will be breast one, the uh, kind of categorization was there. Then Judith Butler, she questioned why this categorization is there. Why only about female? Talk about gender, and when we talk about feminine gender, female as the second sex, then whom do you qualify and who are to be excluded? Can there be a set fixed answer to this? That okay, women, these are the categories of women, and these are the categories of are the qualifying signifiers of men, and these are the qualifying signifiers of women. So this turns out to be a very problematic area, because we cannot what to say, we cannot put these two categories in a binary opposition to each other, because in if we put these categories in a binary opposition, then what about the other options of gender? For example, when we say that, okay, what are the signifiers of female selfhood, then we say that, oh, there are certain signifiers, like a male will be very brave, a female will not be that much brave. For example, a man will cry, a man will never cry, man should not cry. A woman is very emotional, quickly she will cry, tears will roll down. So these are the taken for granted signifiers of gender. But is it always the same in all ages, in all time? Is it always the same with all people that are around us? No, the answer is definitely a no. That is the issue with post-feminism, that they want to transgress the polarities of man and woman, the polarities that has been uh, highlighted by feminism. Post-feminism wants to transgress that polarities, that polarism, that binary opposition. So this issue was raised by the post-feminist thinkers. Then they said that, and also from our experience also, we have seen that that gender is basically a matter of not basically a matter of what to say, not basically a matter of biological factors. We cannot say that, but only the biological factors or solely the biological factors are responsible for the gender identity that we stand for. So, but it's more a matter of social construction, how language, the legal system, the society, all these social identity, all these things constitute to make our gender identity. It's not solely a matter of biological factor or inner essence. Excuse me. So these kind of issues were highlighted, because by such kind of issues, if we take gender to be a social construct, if we just try to come out of gender essentialism, the essentialist of gender, then we can say that gender is having gender not restrict itself to only two categories. Okay, this category is somewhat what to say, somewhat very problematic. It's somewhat problematic, and we'll see that there are various options of gender that needs to be looked. Okay, so we should look into those various options of gender that does not conform to the socially sanctioned categories of gender. So these kind of issues were highlighted by post-feminism, and I think that it was a very innovative kind of uh, perspective, because by this way we can just we can just give or sanction at least some kind of space for those who cannot conform to the what to say, to the I quote unquote normal or socially intelligible or socially sanctioned categories, isn't it? So then it will, we will be able to provide some more space to the other options of gender, or to you think that gender is not specific to a male identity and a female identity, because there are not only one identity or two identities, but a myriad of identities. Okay, a myriad of signifiers constitute to make what we know as gender. So then we can see that in the Indian context also, not to talk about the Western world, because from that, when I'm talking about the theoretical perspective, it is all about the Western theoretical perspectives, or it's all about the Western theoretical arena. But then when we talk about the, what to say, the physicality of our situation, we can look up into the society around us, into the world around us. If we talk about the Indian cultural, socio-cultural milieu also, then we can see that what we think as the Western pattern of gender, that is the male and female binaries, the binary structure of gender, it also fits well in the Eastern or in the Indian socio-cultural milieu. Then if we need to look at the history of our gender structure, the gender structure of the Indian socio-cultural milieu, then we can see that the set fixed notion of gender as a occupation. So this was not there in the early times. Okay, there was space for in the earlier we can have a lot of instances in the mythological characters, in the mythologies, or in the Vedic system. We can see there is a book called the Tritiya Prakriti. So this book also talks about what gender structure, what was the structure of gender in the Vedic society. So it was an all accommodating, it was an all encompassing society. Okay? In that book, we can get a glimpse of the Indian society of the Vedic system when it was all encompassing. That means there was a scope for everyone. So we can see various characters, various androgynous characters like Brihannala, such kind of characters. Okay, you can see Mohini also. And in our culture, we have this Ardhanarishwar form of Lord Shiva and Parvati. Both of them are amalgamated into one. Both the genders, okay, male and female, they are amalgamated into one. So it shows that gender is not something that I am a woman and so these are my qualities. You are a man, so these are your qualities. So we cannot talk about that. I may have certain qualities, certain attributes that have been assigned to the masculine gender, or a masculine gender may have certain qualities, attributes that are socially assigned, socioculturally assigned to the female, or the what to say, the female selfhood. So they can't be to binary opposites or polarities. So we have we can also feel for ourselves that most of the time we can feel that we have qualities of both the gender categories, isn't it? So that's why the Ardhanarishwar, form of Lord Shiva. So this is a kind of androgynous kind of figure. Okay, so this kind of culture was there in the Vedic society, but then gradually along with the advent of the Mughals and with the advent of the Britishers, this kind of society, the philosophy of the social philosophy gradually started to change. And then now the modern society adheres to the norms of the, the Western gender binary. It adheres to that norm of Western gender binary, the heterosexual or heteronormative pattern of uh, gender. So it adheres to that. So then when we talk about the social construction of gender, then we can see that, first of all, when we talk about social construction of gender, we can look at language, how language constructs our gender identity. Okay, how our gender identity is construed by the language. We as a subject, we are a I. The I is the subject, isn't it? We all know that the I is the subject. So this I, or our subjectivity, is construed by language, and language provides us some definitions, set fixed definitions, as well as language has its own pronouns to identify us as man, woman, he or she, all these things. So in language, we can only recognize ourselves in terms of the others who view us as he or she. So what about in such a situation when language provides us certain options, that these are the valid options for a man? Man will be referred to as a he or boy. So what about the transgenders? What about the transgenders? Where will they fit? So what about in India, we have, this is unique for India, because in other countries, we don't have a community of the third gender, as we all say it, quote unquote, the third gender. So in India, we have a community. They are living community. Hijra community. They are living as a community of and they indulges in drag. Drag means cross-dressing, putting on makeup, and they are dressing themselves, making themselves up as the other. They're identifying themselves with the second gender, second. So these kind of behavior could be seen only in India. Only in India, this kind of community, of a community there. And so there is another interesting thing to notice in the Indian socio-cultural milieu, that there is the Indian culture milieu provides space for them also, because they are often thought to be having powers of bestowing blessings on people. So by this way, they are able to earn. Okay, nowadays some people are doing some other business. That is the issue. But I'm talking about this is that uh, they're able to survive. They're able to earn something, earn their income. So this is a kind of small space allotted to them by society. So, and also in the legal system also, we talked about language, how language identifies or makes us identify, okay, ourselves in terms of the definitions, set fixed definitions that provided by language. So we can see in the religion also, in our religion also prescribes, okay, should behave, our females should behave, what are the dress codes, what are their duties. So these are some factors that are constructing our gendered selfhood. Then the legal system, in the legal system also, we can see that we are restricted. Okay, and then I'm talking about we are restricted. We cannot transgress the boundaries. We cannot transgress the fixities that they are, the rigid there. the legal system, the section 337 of the IPC Indian Penal Code. So it earlier it was it was in Indian. It had a very strong those out that falls out of the normal, I quote out the normal categories of men and women. Okay, so the transgenders, the third genders, as they are known, they were not allowed to adoptions of children. They were not allowed marriages or other things. But now the system changed. System is providing some kind of space for these people as well. And so what I'm saying is that all these factors are what is my gender, what is what a person is into is a different question, and what we are made. Okay, we are made because our gendered identity is always determined by all the social factors that are operating, that were operating before we are born. They are the givens, they are given to us. Okay? So we are born, living its own set fixed norm. We'll have to adhere to that norm, and if someone fails to adhere to that norm, they are often stigmatized, they are often regarded as Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, ma'am. You're audible. You can continue.
Okay. So these kind of issues uh, were painstakingly put forward by Judith Butler, and Judith Butler was basically influenced by Foucault, okay, Michel Foucault. So and then what Judith Butler did, I'm talking about I'm talking about the theoretical domain again. I'm going back to that. So what she did, she said that Judith Butler said that, okay, gender is a matter of performance, performative acts. Our gender identity is constituted by performative acts. We are there only through our acts, ACTS. ACTS means X. So gender is a matter of how we act ourselves. Gender is a matter of performance. Okay. So gender is what we do rather than what we are. So instead of expressing our inner essence, we become what we are instructed to be. And these instructions, these prescriptions are already there in the socio-cultural milieu into which we are born. So there is no what to say, there is no outside, if we talk in terms of Foucault, there is no outside to the discourse. Okay, we are all entangled in the discourse of what to say, language, may it be the discourse of gender. We are all entangled in that. So there is no outside to this world of discourse. So we cannot visualize ourselves, we cannot portray ourselves outside this discourse. And that's the cause of all the problems that are being faced by those who cannot perform their gender correct, quote unquote correct. Okay, so then Butler said that if we talk about gender as a matter of performance, instead of talking about abnormal normal gender categories, then life will be more livable for those who cannot adhere to the societal norm of gender, isn't it? Then life will be a more what to say, they will be enjoying their own space, because it is a matter of performance. If we think of it as a, if we take it as a matter of performance, then it will be what to say, an easier way to allot more space, to allot more rights to all these people who fall out of what is the normal categorization of gender. So Foucault also had a problem with this normal, the concept of normal. What is normal? So if you are born with a, for example, a person born with the normal, what to say, the what qualifies as normal anatomy, then he or she will, quote unquote, will have to be, he or she will have to be identified as a male or a female. But if a person is born with a somewhat different body or anatomy, then that person, that individual is labeled as abnormal. So why this abnormality is tagged to those people? Okay, so this question arises, that why because that fellow is also equally created by nature as well as you and me. So if something has been created by nature, then how can it be not natural? How can it be something which is unnatural, abnormal? What is the concept of abnormal? If all the people are having 2 hands, 2 legs, they are normal. If someone is having 3 legs, then that fellow is abnormal. Okay, but that fellow is also equally created by nature. So why majority is taken to be a normal one, and whereas someone who falls out of that majority is labeled as abnormality. Abnormality is something uh, which is not a matter of majority. Something that falls out of the majority is labeled as, instead of labeling it as abnormality, we can respect it as a difference, isn't it? So then Foucault said that, and we also feel that it should be the perspective that why can't we visualize something as different, instead of labeling it as abnormal, as outcast, as or instead of stigmatizing it, isn't it? So these are the issues that we need to think about. We need to think about these issues so that we can provide some more space to the other options, or the other what to say, the other categories. We should not actually categorize, but then we have the same language. We are bound to express ourselves within that language. So we'll be able to give more space to the individuals that are different, isn't it? So then subversive performances, yes, this is the term that I have used in the context of gender as performative acts, as the constituting elements of gender. So when we see gender as constituted or construed by performative acts, then the third gender, or whatever the other alternatives of gender categories, those would be termed as subversive performances, instead of labeling them as abnormal individuals. We can turn those acts, because since this is an act, this is a performance, the male way of identifying yourself, the female way of identifying yourself or presenting yourself before the society, since it is a matter of performing your gender identity in a socially sanctioned way, then those identities, those performances the other performances that are different from the male performances and female performances could be seen as, could be taken as subversive performances, isn't it? They are say they are quite different uh, from the societal script, from the societal prescriptions of gender. So then uh, it will be quite beneficial for the other options of gender, as well as will be allotting more space, more rights to these, to the individuals that are different but not abnormal or anything like that. They are also performing their gender. We are also performing our gender. We are performing ourselves in a different way, and they are performing themselves maybe in a subversive way, in a different manner. That subverse is the meta narrative, the meta narrative of gender that is there in the society. So I think I would like to wind up today. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Ma'am, you are audible.
Yeah, I would like to wind up today. Thank you, everyone. So would you like to share something?
So thank you so much, ma'am, for the wonderful presentation you presented today. So ma'am, I would like to ask some questions, ma'am. So ma'am, my first question is, what motivates you to study about the gender studies?
Yeah, actually, I am a student of literature. So I did gender studies in relation to the plays of Mahesh Dattani. So when we were a student of Gauhati University, we read his plays like Seven Steps Around the Fire, Bravely for the Queen, Tara. So today I have not mentioned about the literary texts that I have analyzed, that I have analyzed in my research work. I have made a general presentation of theoretical and social concerns. So then I read those plays, and those plays were very fascinating for me. And I found that Mahesh Dattani was talking about such issues that I have highlighted. Those kind of issues he has highlighted in his plays. Like, for example, in Tara, he talks about two conjoined twins who were separated just to, they were also normally, naturally born, but they were separated, surgically separated, just to meet the requirements of the fixed gender categories. Okay? That one should be a boy, one should be a girl, they should be separated, but they were born as normal. So Tara is a very famous play. And then Bravely for the Queen also, Mahesh Dattani talks about such issues. And in Seven Steps Around the Fire, he talks about such issues related to transgenders, how they are being stigmatized in the Indian society, how they are never allotted any kind of space. And in Bravely for the Queen, he talks about the fixities of gender categories. He exposes a man who was very weak, emotionally weak, and a woman. One character was there, a woman. She was very strong. She proves to be a very emotionally very strong woman. So this kind of categorization of he has tried to puncture the stereotypical notion of man and women. So these kind of issues were very interesting for me. And then I did more research on the this thing, on the theoretical domains related to the post-feminism, the third gender, and other things. And I, in the light of those theoretical perspectives, I analyzed the plays, and that's why I find this topic interesting. And it was also at the time, and now also it's very relevant in the present, in the contemporary situation. It's very relevant. So I did my research on these areas.
Okay,
Hello.
ma'am. Yeah, ma'am. Ma'am, I have one. Ma'am, my next question is, ma'am, what is your opinion on queer group? What do you have any opinion on queer group?
Yeah, queer group. Yeah, what is my opinion is that I have already mentioned that we should always honor, we should always respect difference, isn't it? If someone is different, if someone wants to live life like that, then we should obviously we should allot space for them, isn't it? So we should provide space for them. We should not try to disgrace those people. We should not try to stigmatize those people. We should always allot space for all the people and all the individuals, and they should be allowed to live life as they want.
Yeah. Ma'am, how to diminish gender discrimination in the society, according to you? What will be your opinion?
Yeah, it's a big question. It's a what to say, the answer, we don't have a set fixed answer, isn't it? So it's a question, the answer is in progress, isn't it? We are doing, we are trying. There is no answer to this question as a fixed answer. I can't give a fixed answer, no one can give. So it depends upon our effort. Okay, how we can what to say, how we can convince the people, how we can convince the people to think about gender as something which is a matter of performance, and how we can convince them to think that uh, that there are no gender binaries, and we should not demarcate, okay, one gender and the other. And if we can make them understand, make ourselves, makes all of us understand this, then I think we will be allotting more space to both the genders, sorry, I quote unquote both the genders, with to all the options of gender. And there will be definitely what to say, a sense of equality, and we will be able to promote equality among among the various options of gender. So the basic thing is that we need to understand that gender is not something which is related to our inner essence, which has got its set fixed definition. I'm a girl, I will cook, and someone is a boy, he will not cook. I will have to go to school, the boy will go to school, the girl will not go to school, she will help in domestic work. So these kind of, we need to make the people aware of all these things. So it's a very what to say, it's a very uh, problematic area actually, and it will take some time, I think, to make people, to modernize people, to make people understand, or to make people think about gender from a different plan. And it will, and surely from the efforts of all of us, and also people like you, definitely one day this aim will succeed.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And I would like to ask, anyone have any queries to ask, ma'am? Anyone have any doubt regarding this topic? Then you are free to ask now.
Hello. Hello.
Hello. Yes, please.
Yeah. Good evening, ma'am. So
Good
Kashmira
evening.
here. Yeah, thank you so
Yeah,
much
Judith.
for your wonderful presentation. Though you have mentioned that it's a general,
Welcome.
general talk, and but still you have that philosophical background, and then you have mentioned about the Michel Foucault's work. You have referred Butler's work. So this is not
Yeah.
my question, but the concern I just want to ask that recently I was reading one article of Rebecca. She's a political philosopher, and in her
Mm,
article she has mentioned that if gender is a innate feelings, which we generally say that
mm,
feelings, that internal feelings comes from where, and then she said
mm,
that the way a person wants to identify themselves, there is no issue. Thousands of ways are there a
mm,
person may identify themselves, but the
mm,
problem emerges only when you start making a political claims on the basis of that label. So
mm.
my question or my concern is that how would you like to answer this, and what would you like to add here?
Mm. So this see this when the question comes that politicalization of gender. Okay, so if we consider, so Butler also said the same thing. If we consider gender as a perform, that's why Butler talked about gender as performative. Okay, so politicalization means this hegemony. This is the gender hegemony, the hegemonic structure of gender. So I hope you understand the hegemony is there operating in the society. And also Foucault talked about the panoptic power. Okay, so this power structure, gender is a power structure, society is a power structure actually. The society and the Foucault said that it's a panoptic power structure because when you are being constantly monitored from a place, you are being for the example of panopticism is that the prisoners in the cells, they were being constantly monitored by the guard. So but the prisoners didn't know about that fact that they were being constantly monitored. So this kind of panopticism, the panoptic power, this is the politics. That means the politics involved in the hegemonic structure, how you establish, how you maintain the hegemony. Okay, this is a power structure. So this is the power structure within which you will have to perform yourself, either in a quote unquote correct manner, or you will be stigmatized, you will be regarded as an outcast. So for fear of being regarded as an outcast, you just try to conform to the hegemonic structure, isn't it? So the normative, the hegemonic structure of gender. So that's why Foucault talked, sorry, Butler adopted this idea from Foucault, the panopticism, the power structure, the panoptic power. So then that's why Butler said that we should visualize. Uh, it will be somewhat simplified if we instead of politicizing the whole matter of gender identities, of gender categorization of gender, instead of politicizing it, instead of um, doing all these things, if we simplify it as construed by performative acts, then it will be much more simplified and easy, and it will allot more space to all. So that kind of issue was highlighted by Judith Butler. Hello? Yeah.
Yeah, except Kashmir, anybody have any
Hello?
queries? Yeah, ma'am, you are audible.
Yeah.
Except Kashmir, anybody have any queries uh, regarding this topic?
मतलब हैं, मेरे को तो कभी नहीं बुलाया।
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your kind